Hello, everybody. It is Renee Cormier from the Fractional Referral Network. Today's guest is John Lawlor. He is an AI imaging entrepreneur. And what that really means is John has been spent over 25 years as a globe-trotting advertising photographer based in New York, Los Angeles, and London. Has many clients have included big names like big names like Nikon. I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my mouth. Merrill Lynch, Marlboro, Maybelline, Tropical Blend, Chrysler, and McDonald's, and many more. John has co-founded two internet-based marketing services companies, and he has discovered the beauty of AI and how you can integrate that with photography. So here we go today. We're going to discuss that. Hello, Cosmin. Welcome aboard. Nice to see
Hey, how are you,
you.
Renee and John? Good to see you
Good.
as well.
Right.
All right. So, John, how did you first become introduced to AI as an image creation tool, and what led you to dive deep into AI image generation tools and techniques?
Well, I'm a tinkerer, always have been. I play with things. I go down a lot of rabbit holes. When we closed our marketing research company for visuals during the pandemic because we were mostly focused on the wine business, and the wine business at that point in time was only focused on shipping. They didn't care, they would just get it out into the marketplace, and so it was a time-consuming process for us and an expensive back end. So we decided, my partner wanted to travel more, and so we decided to close that down. And I decided, well, like I've happened many times in my life, what am I going to do now? What do I feel like doing now? And I got interested in going back into my old images and playing with Photoshop, seeing what I could do with them. And then I did a project where I did 90 days, so I committed to doing 90 days where I took an image every day and created something else with it. And I did that on Facebook and Instagram. And towards the end of that, I started hearing more about AI. I didn't like AI at the images at that point because it was mostly space stuff. And I didn't like the quality of the imagery and so forth. And certainly from a photography point of view, I thought it sucked. So I didn't go there. But what I did was I started playing with it. And when Photoshop came out with what they called generative AI within Photoshop, allowed you to do certain things simplistically. You could expand a picture and do it. They did a really nice job. And that got me thinking about it. So I started playing with it. And then I just got hooked. And I've been hooked ever since. That's about a year and a half ago. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, no matter if my wife understands it or not.
So, how do you see AI image generation complementing traditional image methods for marketing?
Well, I think it's going to go beyond complementing, and I think it's going to change it. And it's already changing it. I happen to think it's a positive change. I've been around long enough that I've seen, I mean, I started 1965. No, 67, I launched my career. That's a long time ago. So I've seen every change that's come along, whether it was at a time when every advertiser hired photographers that would create on contract for them. And then we got into, some stock photography, started to look at the advertising market and started to take over. Digital cameras came in and completely wrecked the market for most professionals, though a lot of professionals still exist and make money. And AI is just another aspect of that. The people who can adapt and adjust and understand that their creativity is within them. It's not within the tools.
Yes.
I was fixated on my Nikon motor drives. Okay. The Nikon motor drive wasn't what I did. It was how I accomplished it. AI is just another way of accomplishing visuals.
Okay, excellent. That's a great way to put that because there are a lot of people in the creative space that really dislike AI and you know slam it for forms being a form of plagiarism and blah blah blah. So it's nice to see uh, that flexible mindset, to because it's not going away.
No.
Yeah, you're not going to make it go away. You may as well jump on board because I think that you'll be left behind if you don't. So what are some of the key differences between the creative process and traditional image creation versus using AI tools? Because I know when I try to create a picture in AI, it doesn't look very good.
Well, the major difference is time and money. Okay. If you that I had one of my old assistants, producers, still is in the business. He produces large photo shoots for companies. And there was I saw a designer out of Switzerland who did a very interesting group of photorealistic images, some of the best I had seen at that point. This is now 6 months ago. And I asked my friend hey, would you budget this if it was reality and we had to go out and shoot it? And the budget was over $200,000. Okay. And I spoke to the designer about it and I said, well, how long did this take? He said, well, it took me basically 5 days. And so, how much is 5 days worth to a client versus
Yeah,
$200,000? So from an
yeah,
economic
sure.
point of view, it is there. From a reality point of view, we're still 6 months to a year away from it being normal. Okay. And even in talking with the designer, he said he could not do very, very specific client related things like clients have a tendency to demand. So we're in this period where it's important that people, no matter whoever it is, if it's a creative or it's fractional, they understand what can and can't be done at this point in time. And it's a lot of it's a combination of doing things in AI and then tweaking them in Photoshop. And it makes a very effective way of doing it there. But I think,
So
it's inevitable, as you said. And what I'm finding is I'm introducing AI to people that I knew, art directors I work with, creative directors I worked with, and it doesn't take much. Once they get beyond the initial, they listen to my rap. They doesn't take much for them to go, well, let me play with this. Can you help me? I'm helping a friend do all the illustrations for a book of his experiences during his advertising years, and it's all AI. But it started off as being, we'll do it all AI, but it's not. It's ended up being a combination of existing images and AI. And that's where we've gotten to now. It's all melding together. And there's almost anything you want to do, you can do today. You just might take a lot of time today, and it's going to take less time in 3 months, 6 months, or a year. So it's there. And if you're in the business and you're creative, or even if you're not creative, you have to understand what's possible with it.
yeah, okay. So how do you see AI helping fractionals incorporate AI augmented visuals into their clients' marketing?
Well, if history is what do you call it? If history can be relied on, companies have a tendency to move very slowly.
Yeah.
Where the fractionals can come in, especially, is the fractionals, I believe, and in all the conversations I've had with fractionals, especially in your group, they are much more open-minded. They understand that to maintain their business, part of what they're bringing to the party is an understanding of things that the CMOs or the CEOs, et cetera, don't have the time to do, don't have the time to understand. And I'm not suggesting that fractional CMOs need to become experts at creating images. I don't think they should. I think that they should understand what is possible and be, so they are just a couple steps ahead, in some cases, a month, 2 months, 3 months of their clients, and introduce their clients to it. Right now, what's happening is that there is a Wild West kind of feature. Everybody's doing their own thing. If somebody in the company has an interest in AI, and frankly, the number of artists that have evolved, have been discovered by themselves in the last year, is just blown up. I find it very funny that people who are never have thought of anything artistic in their life, they don't consider themselves artists. They create 1 or 2 images in AI and suddenly decide, well, I'm an artist. That's
Mhm.
not viable. It's not viable in
Right.
the corporate environment. That's great if you want to mess around and show your kids or your grandkids pictures, but it's not in the corporate environment. So the fractionals, their job is to help steer their clients, make sure their clients stay on the right track. So they have to understand, and in terms of where marketing is and AI imagery, there's really three parts. There's the creation, okay? There's the curation, and then there is the okay, it's I'm drawing a blank. Okay, but you
That's
have
okay. Relax.
it's also basically the storage and the
Yes.
one of the differences that AI versus regular photography or illustration especially is the number of images that are coming out of it that you can create very quickly is phenomenal. So you have to have a storage system. You have to have a way of being access that material. You have to have a way of curating that material, and you have to have, obviously the creation is the easy, in a sense, the easy part, but the fractionals can help guide the company into the various parts. Those three parts, even though I can't remember what the third one is, but it really has to do with storage of the information, of the things, and how it gets used. Because one of the economic benefits of it is creating libraries of images that can be used over a long period of time. Companies have a tendency to use the similar image subjects over a period of time with their social media, especially their marketing, etc.
So what are your favorite tools, and which ones would you recommend marketers use?
Well, can I go to my
And feel free to show me anything you have. I've got
okay?
you can share your
Let me do
screen.
this. Let me go here. Okay, so what are you looking at now? You should be looking
I'm
at,
looking at John Lawlor's going to share his screen. There we go.
okay.
Now we've got Chat GPT open.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring up my, where are we? Here we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, yep, here we go. Okay,
Oh my
so
goodness.
it should say image tools.
Yeah. There
Okay.
you go. Yeah.
The tools that I like, and I'll give you kind of why I like them. DALL-E. DALL-E is pretty ubiquitous. It's probably the thing that most people have played with. DALL-E is exceptionally good at illustration. DALL-E is exceptionally poor at realistic photography.
Yes.
And keeping in mind, anything I say tomorrow, it's going to change. It could be a month, it could be 6 months, but it's all going to get better along the way. Midjourney, for most purposes, is the best entity out there. Midjourney's not hard to, especially since they went to a web interface. Midjourney's not very hard to use. There are various techniques that help you. You don't have to invent everything from the ground up. I like Midjourney a lot. I produce an awful lot there, and I produce a lot within DALL-E also. But again, I keep it to illustrations. Flux is kind of the new popular kid on the block. Flux is not sure whether it will overtake Midjourney or not, but it's quite powerful. Has the reality aspect that Flux can do is very, very powerful. Photoshop obviously is it's a staple in anything you do. And I'll show you an example of this next one. EverArt is a very small platform, very small team of developers doing incredible things that are targeted towards marketers and advertising images. As against art images, Midjourney is more into, the leaders of the Midjourney company. They started it for art to help their friends. DALL-E, same kind of thing. And other tools that I like, ChatGPT, use it every day, use it constantly. I've usually been on ChatGPT for 30 or 40 minutes before I have my first cup of coffee. Any idea that I
And you
wake
thought your caffeine addiction was bad.
right? Well, I've been cutting that back. um, every I tend to wake up with thoughts and ideas, and in the old days it might take me 2 weeks to kind of process that idea and then
Yeah.
annoy friends about, hey, what do you think of this, and et cetera. And now I go to ChatGPT and I can again, in the first half hour of my day, I can take the idea, throw it in the ChatGPT, get feedback, and it's phenomenal.
Yes.
Perplexity is one that I'm growing to like. is more of a Google replacement. I think it's a lot cleaner. It gives you really good information. One of my favorite things is Notebook LM from Google. It is
Yes.
phenomenal taking ideas that you have and putting them into a format. It really produces, if you don't know, it produces a podcast with two people with cheery voices. And what it does is it interprets the material you put in ways that you can't possibly expect. And
Yes.
it's really quite,
Sometimes wrongly, however. So yeah, you do have to make sure you listen to the whole thing.
every one of these tools does things
Yeah.
wrong.
Yes.
The difference is that over time it improved.
It
They
will
all
get better.
improved
Yes.
absolutely better. If you looked at most of the excuse me, most of these tools 6 months ago compared to today, you would be astounded at the difference. So, sorry. So one of the ways that I suggest is people want to start playing with this. They want to start understanding what it's capable of. You use styles. So Art Deco versus robotic versus steampunk, etc. And this is especially good. It works both with DALL-E and with Midjourney, but it's a way of getting into the thing. So here is going to be a couple examples. Here is a no prompt. It just says Mark Twain portrait. That's all I asked it for. DALL-E's on the
Right.
Midjourney. Hopefully it's coming across that way on your screen.
Yes. Yeah. And Mid-Journey is a much nicer finish. Yeah.
Right. But then you go to a style, cartoon style. Okay.
Right.
Which do you like, which it's all personal preference. So,
Right.
when you're learning and you're trying to understand this stuff, it's very simple to go one to the other and do this. Pop art style, the classic pop art style. Did I mix this? Oh, I was on the wrong side. I switched the sides here. The DALL-E is more what you think of. I think most people think of pop art. The Midjourney is a little more sophisticated.
Mhm.
Okay, DALL-E, and this is revolutionary art. Now, the differences between these two sets is phenomenal. DALL-E thinks of Russia in the
Yes.
revolution, and Midjourney looks like it thinks of the American Revolution. So,
Yes. Interesting. Yeah.
impressionist paintings, but every time you do one of these things, one of the things to know about the AI engines is that they'll tend to give you a number of images. Midjourney gives you 4, DALL-E, depending on the day of the week, sometimes gives you 2, sometimes more. But you'll never get 2 images that are identical.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. So I kind of aspire to, I talk about creating volumes of images. Okay. I call it, and the technique I use is typically I will put a simple prompt, and I'm also a big one on simple prompting. Put a very simple prompt in. I take a quick look at what it looks like, and then I repeat it. I do it through. I end up with 36 images. It's kind of like the old roll of film coming out of the camera. It was 36 images. So I've taken a model and I create these libraries of images that on themes. And I can do them very quickly and very easily. And that's kind of where I really spent, the first 6 months I was playing with this. Scaling, using existing images. This is something that's come up in the last 3 months. This is, I think this was EverArt. It's come up in 3 months being able to do it. So I took the hang glider image from the bottom and I brought it up and I started creating other images that are purely based on that. Okay, on existing images, and again, my little swarming model, and you pick your ones you want. And are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. But the man has some weird things hanging. I look like a seaplane at times. But it gives you the ability to come up with a lot of things. Oh, this is Let's LETZ.ai, which I occasionally will use. There's so many of them that I can go nuts. This is another one. This is the EverArt, where I took these images of running shoes. It was all it was, and I created 100 images through EverArt of the same
So
thing.
it's a real picture of a real shoe that you're having
But
AI
yes,
play with.
yes.
Okay.
So this is pretty new stuff, and I think very exciting. They don't always get it right, but you go through this, there's a lot of, they're pretty accurate. You have to,
Mhm.
again, you have to curate the pictures and understand what is real and what's not in terms of the product. Like on the one on the top, upper left there, the symbol, it should both be blue. It's not, but you could fix that in
Right.
Photoshop in an instant. So, but this is pretty incredible. So the next one is
Yeah, you have to have a pretty, well, you would anyway if you're a photographer. You have to have a really good eye to notice those little things, right?
right,
You
but
have
you
to
don't have to
have
be a
quite
photographer.
an eye for detail.
And that's where the question, back to the question about how it's going to impact the people who have been in the business for a while. That's what you're bringing to the table. That's what you bring, your experience, your excellence. These are the things that make you valuable. And the more you can understand how to use the tools and curate from those tools, the output from those tools, the more valuable you're going to be. And possibly your most creative side is going to be outside of the business, outside of where you make your living. But a lot of people, that's the case anyway. A lot of photographers I know, their most creative side was outside of what they did within the business.
Yes.
Because when you're doing it for marketing, the marketers have very specifics that you have to follow.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, um,
Cosmin, are you on? Are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any questions or comments you want to interject here?
Uh, yeah, let me turn on my video. I wanted to make sure that John and you, Renee, had the spotlight there on the Zoom. Yeah, no, John, as always, I know we've connected, one-on-one and talked about our experiences, and always impressed about your um, AI depth and how you do things. I'm obviously a big believer in leveraging AI tools, and I love this example here that you showed, because I know, Renee, you mentioned earlier on, like, how do fractionals leverage it for their clients, and or personal, and especially when it comes to marketing, right? And something like this is just incredible. I know, early on for my business, I've always taken a look at, beyond the flashiness and the tinkering, like, how do you directly apply it to the business? And I mean, my imagery in the past, I would have an account at free stock imagery photography type of sites, and I think there's still a place for those, but in general, for if you're like a small business owner or a solopreneur, like, I'm not spending a subscription or buying individual stock photography anymore. I'm going into these tools and finding the one that works for me. And I love how you had that list there earlier of a few of them, and generating photography for my website, or graphics for my website, or a client's website, right? And it's great because you can directly say, when it comes to like branding of your client, you can prompt it in a certain style, in a certain way, and get that output. And you don't have to pay individual stock photography fees anymore. And so that's just fantastic. I know, I do that a lot, not only for my personal content, and what I do for my solopreneur businesses, but also for clients as well. And and it's just been a game changer. I think on the imagery side, and I think this is kind of like a key topic of what we're talking about. But what I've also been fascinated about is going beyond the imagery and getting into video, right? We know that video is a huge component of content marketing. And actually, just this morning, I took a look at, and I start with my day with what's new and a few subscriptions of newsletters out there. But I saw that OpenAI actually released a text to video tool, and you probably know about it, John, but it's called Sora, Sora. Well, it will create 20-second videos for now, and it's obviously, like anything, not perfect yet, but I saw a stat there where Tyler Perry, the director, he actually paused plans on building an 800 million studio because of this. So you can imagine the impact that this technology is having, and it's not to replace, but how do you leverage it differently? And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's just AI is fake, is plagiarizing, etc. I've always been a big believer of what you've shown us here, John. It's blending AI tech with human creativity together that brings the best results. And so, I just love this topic, and I love what you're doing, John.
Well, thank you, thank you. But on the Sora thing, the Tyler Perry thing, he did that 6 months ago when Sora they put the first teaser out, and
That's right.
Sora finally being released today or yesterday. Try and get on, try and get on. You can't. It's absolutely
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like any new tech, right? I mean, early adopters are clamoring for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I tried 4 times this morning, and once yesterday to get on. It just comes back and says, sorry, uh,
Yeah,
we've
but it's a
closed your
testament
registration.
of, how quickly people are looking to adopt and learn and understand. And, like any bell curve, right? You have your early adopters and everything else, they'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, it's a shiny new tool. How do you apply it directly to your business? In one of my solopreneur businesses, I wanted to do a training video, right? I have training videos, and instead of me, having to spend thousands of dollars to hire somebody to shoot the video and lighting, staging, scripting, like all that stuff. I leveraged a tool like HeyGen, right? And video creation tool, right? HeyGen, you have Synthesia, you have others, and created a custom avatar of me and basically just VO'd, voiced over the content, and the AI avatar rendered it with my voice. And, now instead of spending thousands of dollars and countless hours to produce a training video, I can update that module, that section in under an hour,
Right,
And so it's just extraordinary. Now the question is like, how, again, it's a shiny tool. How do you find the right one? How do you learn it more and more and explore like you did with the thousands of iterations, right, to get to the one you want? That's the secret sauce, I guess, that like, I'm not a baker or a cook, but I see them, right? It takes a lot of practice before you get that beautiful cake.
right,
And
right,
so then you have to ask yourself, like, like John, you do the swarming where you put, 36 images you're requesting. Like that takes time. So what's the difference between just doing it yourself and getting the AI to do it for you? Because if you can't get what you want right away or within the first couple of minutes, if you're going to spend half the day trying to get the stupid thing to create something that looks right, why bother? Just a
well,
question. Yeah.
because I have a basic disagreement with the statement you just made.
Okay,
Uh,
good. Good.
it's not going
Clarify.
to. Well, I do not believe in spending half a day on an image. That's why I swarm. And again, because the AI will always produce different images. If you do 36, um, I was thinking about switching to that. If you do 36, you're probably going to find something in there you like. You can use that as a reference image now, and you can create more like it. You can create images that are very similar, or it will take that, and this is Midjourney, it will take it and do a more creative interpretation of that image. So the 36 images I could sit here and do it, and I would be done in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
when you get into that headset, you avoid the thing of getting immersed in the image. I mean, trying to create or perfect a single image is the biggest rabbit hole that has ever existed. And unfortunately, that's how most people approach this. Oh, and they want to be very, very, very specific in their prompts. I am a very simple prompt person. I very seldom, the only time I use more sophisticated prompts or more longer prompts is usually when I'm looking at what someone else has done and I'm trying to understand it. And then what I do is I pull backwards and I say, okay, what can I take out of this and still get the same thing? But I always start small. Duck on a hill. Okay.
Right.
I have a standard one I test with called the Mystic Goose, and it's the Mystic Goose on the loose. And no matter what the technology is, I run it through, and it gives me a reference point. I've produced over 2,000 images of the Mystic Goose on the loose. Um, so nobody cares about the Mystic Goose, but I do. And one day,
Right.
I'm going to find a use for 2,000 pictures of the Mystic Goose on the loose. But I'm fascinated by it because I have it in every style I could possibly think of. And I have a book that I, basically have 60, a reference book. I have 60 styles that I culled down from 200, about 150. So, but again, think simple and don't get bogged down. But that's part of the problem with trying all these new techniques or these new items. This one that I have on the screen now at EverArt, I've been a subscriber of theirs at $50 a month, I think it is, for probably 6 months now. And it's only just now getting to the point that I think that they're doing really interesting things. And this is one of the most interesting things from the point of view of an advertiser.
Okay, good, good.
So
Do you have any other images you want to show us?
let me, sorry, let me just talk about how I approach this. A couple weeks ago on Nishet's call, she talked about her word, and it got me thinking. And of course, I can't remember. I think ready was her word, but I can't remember
Yes.
exactly what it was. But
Was
so
it Nisha? That was good job.
yeah, okay, sorry, good job.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this, and it's because the question I get asked all the time is, what's your advice? So I put it into the word focus, okay? Because being a photographer, focus is pretty important. Okay.
Right.
So F, fundamentals still matter. Okay. Your AI strategy has to be set in the basics and marketing basics. It's not going to suddenly, everything's not going to suddenly change. The world is not going to suddenly change. You have to remain with your basics. So your fundamentals. Okay. The O is the outcome driven optimization. Again, what I've just been talking about, instead of focusing on one image and trying to dig and make it perfect, you allow the system to give you a lot of images, and now you can go and choose from those images, and you have a higher chance of finding something that is going to work for you in 5 minutes than you do in 5 hours of digging. Okay, so that's outcome driven optimization. And I don't know why I'm having a blank screen there, but control, consistency, and curation, the 3 words. If you understand how to control what you're doing, you have a consistency in it, and you understand curation, you're going to keep your brand aligned and consistent and polished. And the U is the user-centric implementation. And excuse me. No, this is where AI should come and take out all of my coughs. So user-centric implementation, you leverage AI to serve your customers better and meet their needs. If that is your focus, it doesn't matter really whether you're hiring a photographer to do it, you're buying a stock image, or you're using AI. The purpose is all still the same. You want to get their attention, and you want to achieve what your goals are. So this is not going to eliminate photography. It's not going to real photography. It's not going to eliminate stock photography, but it's going to change the business. And scalable solutions. It is incredibly scalable, what you do if you have a plan. So the fractionals can help their companies to do this without getting bogged down into these rabbit holes. Now, okay, so that was the fun. Okay, so pictures, different kind of pictures. These are all real pictures. These are all shots from shoots that I did and that I happen to like.
Is that a young John Lawlor with a beard and a cigar?
Oh yeah, that was my portrait from the a book that Nikon put out in the early 70s called the Nikon Image. There were like 20
Look
photographers.
very artsy there. Yeah.
My kids they get apoplectic about it. And on the top left was the last shoot I did for Marlboro, and that's my wife with me and our little red dog,
Nice.
who had just after this picture was taken, ran off, found a cow patty, and rolled in it.
Oh my goodness.
It was a lesson. Don't take your tight-haired dog to a shoot.
Yeah.
The cows around. And then the bottom one is a cafe that was only used for in Long Beach, California, that I loved for shoot at. It was only used for filming, and they filmed When Harry Met Sally there.
Okay.
And then let's see, my rainbow picture and my well, the upper right-hand corner is more or less what I look like today. So,
Okay.
favorite all-time
Very
picture
good.
I've ever taken.
Love that.
Got this in 1968 in the Camargue. I had two images with my motor drive that worked, and the other one didn't work as well as this. I have this picture in a 6x9 version of this picture hanging in a room off the kitchen, which so
Beautiful.
you can see it from the whole rest of the house. This is me. I don't trying this at home. This was on our 6th day of working with the Merrill Lynch bull. I wouldn't get in the same field with the Merrill Lynch bull on day 1, 2, or 3. But
not as friendly as he looks.
no, he became friendly, but he became bored with us, actually, is what it was. But no, and we have I look back at this picture and I go, well, these guys were supposed to be there to rescue me. Now, no one looks like they're standing ready to rescue me, except my assistant, he's getting ready to run. So, and here was on the last day with the bull on the beach in Galveston, Texas, when we obviously were there were no handlers around to speak of, and it was just the bull and myself on the beach, and that's one of the fun things that AI can do to your old images. And I don't even know how I did that. I don't even know which program I used to do that. So hold on a second. I forgot to turn off my phone. Okay. So that's kind of where I am. I have
You're a fractional image whisperer.
This is a concept that I've been kind of thinking about. It finally came to fruition a couple days ago, and in January I'll be launching it. To me, it's another layer in the fractional system that for being able to provide, whether myself or people I can train, to be able to provide them with the tools and the information they need to service their fractional CMOs, and keep the fractional CMOs focused on the strategies and all the other good stuff that they do. So that'll come up in January. I'm doing a lot of interviewing and talking to people to understand more, and I'm about to do a survey, a survey-based series of conversations to put out a report hopefully in January about attitudinally from CMOs about where they are now, where they think is going, where their clients are going, etc. So, any more questions? I'm happy to answer them. I always have thoughts.
What advice would you give other fractionals?
Other fractionals. What advice about what?
With respect to embracing, AI imaging and so on, in their work and in their branding.
Okay. Well, I think that the fractionals, and especially fractional CMOs, are the conduit that's going to help clients to enter this world successfully. Okay. So I think that they need to get a strategy or that goes beyond just the techniques or the engines, because this stuff is moving so rapidly that whatever problems you think you have today when you play with it or work with it, they're probably going to be gone in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Good example is the Sora, or the video part that was mentioned earlier. That video has advanced. Video is advancing probably in its technology, doubling every month. It's still imagery, and then 3D imagery is coming along too, but not as fast as still imagery. That's advancing probably every 3 months. It's doubling in its capability and its accuracy. So now is the time to start to understand it. Now is the time to start to put a strategy in place. The reason why I'm talking to a lot of people, as many as I can, is so that I can understand what I can deliver as the fractional image whisperer, or to train other people who also will come along and be able to help. Because I'm only one person, and I only want to work so hard, and so I only have so many hours in the week that I feel that I want to spend on the phone. But I want to see other people doing this, and so creating the concept that the support system needs to be there, so the fractionals don't have to understand and do everything themselves. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Cosmin, you have a question?
Uh,
Your little hand is up there.
yeah. So actually, I love this fractional image whisper. When I first saw it, I'm like, did you create the logo with AI
Of
imaging?
course I did.
What
It's
tool did
very
you use for
nice.
that? Do you remember?
You know what?
Maybe a good follow-up in the comments of the video.
Yeah.
Um, hold on, give me a second. I think. Anybody like poodles, red poodles?
I've got one right here. There he is. Right? Come on.
No.
There he is.
Okay.
That's Tucker. My boy.
Oh, here we go. All right. So I did it in Midjourney,
Oh, okay.
and
Awesome.
then I started Midjourney. I think what I did
Yeah.
was this one that I liked. I brought it into Photoshop. I flipped this because it's supposed, as a whisperer, it's the ear, listening. So I flipped it right, and then I decided that I wanted to put the words in, and I just did that in Photoshop. So that was what I
Awesome.
got.
So a great example of using AI imaging to start your output and then having your human creativity finalize it.
Right, absolutely.
Awesome.
And I did quite a few. Again, the same swarming technique. We'll go down to the bottom and see where we started. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So this is where I started. So this was, how long did this take me? There's no timing on here, but I would guess this took me 15 minutes to get all the
Okay.
way here.
I need a logo for
Okay.
my new group, my new other business, my whole advisory business. So
Well,
I'm
send
no
me what
graphic
you
designer, let me tell you.
send me what what you're looking for, and the wording, and I'll play with it.
Okay, sure, thanks. I have it's fractionals on sorry, it's Advisors on the Go is the name of the company.
Just send it to me in an email if you would, please.
I will, sure.
Okay, so let's say you have the Christmas rooster, right?
Yes, my rooster here. Yes.
And what's the Christmas rooster doing?
He's doing nothing. He's just sitting here. He guards the area.
So this is what I do. Something as simple as Christmas rooster sitting on a desk.
Okay.
It's gonna, the first one takes the longest. Okay. So,
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
so now what I'm going to do is I just down, but you can see it, but down here, there is a rerun. And so, but I'm going to change it. I want to change it. I don't like this style code.
So this is Midjourney you're using?
This is Midjourney. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I made a small change to it and it's going to run. And once I have something I think is in the ballpark, in fact, you know what? I'm going to do more of this one because I think it's interesting. I just didn't want them all through. So I'm just going to hit rerun, 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 rerun,
Okay.
rerun. I think I hit, so, and now here's the second
And
one I
now we're
did.
getting some nicer roosters. There we go. Look at that.
Okay. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And sometimes if you move too quickly, it will come back and tell you, depending on the level of your subscription, it'll tell you that you've exceeded your limit. It didn't happen today. But so what you have now, and now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to look at the organization. I should have put the timer on.
There we go. They're coming in. Look at that. You've even got Pingu in there. Pingu the penguin.
So do you think you might be able to find 1 or 2 images in here that
Oh,
fit
absolutely. Yeah. There
what you want?
were, especially some of the later ones, right?
Right.
They were quite pretty. Oh, look, he's even at the laptop. It's my assistant.
That's, what are we talking? Would that take 4 minutes?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You know, that's yes. I think it's a question of, yeah, and the tool you use, right? Because you can't, this is a really good tool.
That Midjourney is
Yeah.
perfect for doing this because you have the rerun button. Whereas
Yes.
Dolly, I use
Yes.
a program that does it.
Okay.
Dolly has an API, and I have a program that will go in. I can do as many images. I actually, in Dolly, what I do is I have a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet I can pick the styles that I want. And I can do, and then I can tell it how many images with each style I want and run it. And it runs independently of me. It might take 15 minutes and I can produce, I produced probably as many as 200 images, individual images in, 10, 15 minutes with Dolly, but you can't do it in the web interface that way. You have to go through the API, which is,
Right.
for most people is, it's a proprietary program. So
Right.
most people, but
But it's very nice. Like they did. This is
it's a piece of
come out
cake.
very good. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Well,
Okay.
thank you, John. Thank you. That's fabulous. I'm going to wrap this up. Any comments or questions, Cosmin, before we go? You're good?
Oh, great job.
All right. Thanks, John. I really appreciate this. I will publish the video and give you all of links and things you need. You can share your things around your social channels and wherever you like.
And if
All
anyone
righty?
would like to participate in a phone call with me, just please send me an email, john.lawlor@gmail.com, and I will be happy to respond and schedule a call for early January because I'm going to be out of town for most of the rest of this month. So, but I look forward to, I will respond to every email. Thank you very
Excellent.
much. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Have a
Great.
wonderful day, guys. Thank
You
you.
too. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.